Thank you very much for joining me. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields, and thank you for being part of this weather community. Of course, this catching your eye, we've had some heavier rain at times. Some of us last night, yesterday in Jamaica, and especially parts of Belize. And now, as you swing back toward parts of Mexico and even some pockets in Honduras, there's been some ongoing flooding in parts of Belize. Let me know what you've been getting or not getting. Now, in this video, I want to get into the chance of development. This is as expected. This is what we've been talking about all week, some of the heavier rain building. So in this video, we're going to go model by model, and then I want to look at a hot pocket in the water right here just south of Haiti near Jamaica and what that means for the potential of development. Island by island, the flood threat as this rain, it's only going to build. It's really going to expand the next couple days, and two systems out there in the Pacific. I'll have that toward the tail end of this video. Big system out there, Chrissy. Now, we'll get into that in a moment. Here's what's going on as we take a look at the chance of development. What's going to be happening over the next few days, a lot of rain's going to build like we have now across Central America and the Western and Central Caribbean. An area of low pressure, which is a storm system, is going to start to develop. Now, the American model still has this becoming a hurricane. The European model is also seeing some development out of this down the road. Not a hurricane, but potentially a tropical depression. Same thing with the Canadian model. The Icon German model does not have this as a storm, but the models have been trending more and more toward development out of this. So let's go model by model first, and then I want to show you the expanded version of the American model and the European model right after this. So here's what's going on. The American model says we are going to see an area, a storm system start to develop into a tropical storm near Jamaica, near Haiti, and then lift its way near the Dominican Republic and Haiti, and eventually become a hurricane near the southern Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos. This, please again, I want to keep this in perspective. This is one computer model. The other ones don't show anything quite as strong. This is possible. I'm not sure yet. What I am sure about is the very heavy rain that we're going to be seeing developing. But this is just one scenario. On the flip side of this, as we go throughout the upcoming week, the European model has a lot of rain in Central America, building through the Caribbean, and then a little area of low pressure developing near Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, and the Turks and Caicos that could spin up into a tropical depression or tropical storm. Not as aggressive as the American model. Both models have done pretty well this hurricane season. As far as the Canadian model goes, today it is showing something trying to spin up near Jamaica, Haiti, and the DR as we get into the week ahead. And as far as the Icon model, the German model is concerned, it is not showing a name system, but like the other models, it is showing a lot of rain. So that is the first concern, and the highest concern will be that flood threat as we watch out for that chance of development. Now, why is there a significant chance of development with this? Well, one of the reasons, water temperature is still very warm. This time of year in the Caribbean, water temperatures are typically warm, and that's what we have, 30 to 31 degrees Celsius in spots near Cuba, Jamaica, and Haiti. That's about 86 to about 88 degrees Fahrenheit. This right here, where there is the potential of development, this kind of hot pocket right here, that is the warmest spot in the entire Atlantic Basin. The Atlantic Basin is the Atlantic Ocean, Caribbean, and Gulf of Mexico. And you see that deep red right there? That's a problem because not only is that warm water at the surface, but even down below it is pretty warm. So if a system starts to develop, it just churns up more warm water. This is called heat content. In this hot pocket here that is high heat content, that adds fuel to these systems, and that's why I want to highlight that it is very good to spread the word about the potential of this system because this is close to home. It's not like we're tracking something out here and we have days and days to watch it. We could see something developing basically right on top of us, some of us, as we get into the upcoming week. But the primary threat initially is the rain. So even if it doesn't become a named system, say it does what the German model is thinking, and it's not even a named system, there's going to be a lot of heavier rain. You see it here building. Now this here is the American model. So the rain is going to build. All of the models are showing this through Tuesday, so a high certainty. It's not going to be all day rain, but batches of rain, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, just kind of feeding in, even near Colombia, then lifting toward Cuba, Cayman Islands, Jamaica, and still Honduras, Belize, over toward Cancun, Cozumel as we get into Mexico. Not as much over toward Merida. We're looking more on the Caribbean side. A lot of wet weather building. That is certainty. We're going to see a ton of rain, and you see it just kind of feeding in, and look what happens with an old front nearby. The rain really expands. We're going to see a ton of it in some spots near Puerto Rico by later in the week, Dominican Republic, Haiti, Turks and Caicos, Bahamas, stretching back toward Jamaica. Now, all the models basically see this, right? And this is several days from now. Here's a front to the north. This front should steer whatever this is kind of back to the northeast. After this is when the models start to differ, and I'm not sure yet. It's hard to kind of get a good gauge. I don't just look at the models, I look at the environmental conditions. It's hard about a week out in time to see what may spin up. The American model does show this becoming a tropical storm just to the north of the ABC Islands. Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire later this week, we may get a better chance of some rain. You see here a week from now, so we know things are going to change. A week from now, the American model is showing a tropical storm developing. But when I joined you a few days ago, it was showing a tropical storm developing by about Wednesday and Thursday. So it's kind of backed up the timing on that, which means it's a little bit off. But there is that possibility of something developing. If something does develop, or even if it doesn't, these fronts back to the north are going to kind of help steer this back to the northeast, which means even if we don't have a named system, anywhere from the British U.S. Virgin Islands through Puerto Rico, Haiti, the DR, back toward the Turks and Caicos and parts of the Bahamas, we're going to have a very heavy rain event. And that does include in the short term what we have going on in Belize now, parts of Mexico, Jamaica, Cayman Islands. We've got some wet weather ahead. So here we are. Here's Cuba, Cayman Islands. Here we are in Jamaica. You get over toward the Yucatan Peninsula, Belize, Honduras right in here, Providencia, San Andres, watching out for some very heavy rain the next few days, watching our Colombian islands. Now, the European model, as I mentioned, less aggressive, but look how it is similar, at least initially, to all the models. This here is by Tuesday, and you see a lot more green on the map right in through here. The green on the map, of course, that is the rain. Here's Haiti right here. Here's the Dominican Republic. So that rain is really going to be building in as we go throughout the week, watching out for the flooding and the potential of mudslides. Now, going forward, the European model, as we work our way out in time, by the end of the week, this here is by Thursday, this here is by Friday. We have these fronts moving by the U.S. It is showing some of the rain again, parts of the Caribbean, but look how it starts to build near Puerto Rico, Haiti, and the Dominican Republic. Now, the European model as of now is saying, yes, something may eventually spin up, but maybe not so much in the Caribbean, maybe a little bit to the north, could be on the Atlantic side. Let's go a week out in time now. This is by next weekend. So again, we know this is going to change some. But you can see right in here near Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic, even Haiti, the European model saying, hey, something may try to spin up, maybe a tropical storm, maybe a tropical depression, which is a little bit below a tropical storm, right in through here. Now, if something develops, if the European model does spin this area up, it is more likely to kind of drift in place and then eventually kick off toward the northeast. Of course, always thinking of down the road, the Atlantic region of Canada, Bermuda, but you can see the big differences. Very common to have these differences when we're talking about 6-7 days out, but I know you know that. So let's get back to the certainty in the forecast. I don't just like to give you a bunch of scenarios. I like to let you know what is going to happen and where I'm still trying to figure things out. Now, in the short term, this is what's going to happen. We're going to see some heavier pockets of rain. Now, here's Cozumel, for example, Belize City, Hopkins, Ladyville. Here's Roatan, northern sections of Honduras. Get over toward Guatemala here. Look at the black and red shading showing up in here. Of course, this is over water, but this is over land. That would be anywhere from 6 to 8 inches of rain, or 150 millimeters of rain to 200 millimeters of rain. Now, here's the deal. See this pocket right here? This may be over here, or it could be over here. It's going to be a broken area of rain. It's not going to be constant, so it's going to be really hard to pinpoint. Belize City, do we get the rain, or is it more to the south over toward Punta Gorda? So again, a big area of rain, but it is overall going to be a broken area of rain. Now we swing back toward the Cayman Islands, Grand Cayman, for example. You can see how we're on the edge of it. Look at the black shading in here, which would be 6 inches of rain, but then you see this purplish shading, which is about 3 inches of rain. So it's still a little bit hard to tell. Will this be here or kind of drift up here? But either way, the rain threat is high. So the locations I am mentioning, again, we need to be mindful that we could see flooding starting today in some spots and then just increasing as the upcoming week goes on. So I want you safe. I do this channel for safety. You don't even need to subscribe. I do want you to spread the word, but I just want the word out about the flood potential. Here's Jamaica, for example. Again, another good example where some of us may not get a whole lot, right? While others could absolutely get dumped on as we get deeper into the week. So over the next 2 days, as we build this weather community, put your location in the comments and what you have going on or not going on, able to help people out. So, and be mindful of those river crossings. Now, down the road, Cuba, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Turks and Caicos, Bahamas, Puerto Rico. I'll see how this evolves throughout the week, and I'll get very specific with the potential of rain totals. And of course, if this area develops, I'll let you know ahead of time. But you can see this big surge of moisture that we have ongoing. So all that we've been talking about the last few days, we are starting to see it now. So Trinidad, Tobago, St. Lucia, Grenada, Barbados, St. Vincent the Grenadines, hit or miss showers and storms through Antigua and Barbuda. The focus, I know, is over here. Here we are in the ABC Islands right here. There's still going to be some moisture popping up Eastern Caribbean, but more so the Western Caribbean and back towards Central America. Now, as we get into tomorrow, some of that moisture starts to feed its way toward the Cayman Islands, even Jamaica. So as we get into tomorrow and the upcoming week, that rain chance will increase from Central America, stretching back to the Northern Caribbean. You see Cuba right here. There's some of the extra rain moving in by the time we get into Monday. Then it's going to fill in further as I showed you throughout the week. And then I'll be monitoring to see if anything starts to spin, if we do get any development into a tropical depression or a tropical storm. So it's going to be choppy over the next few days, just kind of going out in time through the Caribbean. And with the fronts coming through the U.S. as well, it'll be a little bit choppy in the Gulf of Mexico and, of course, the Atlantic waters. This here is by the end of next week. If we get some development here in the Central Caribbean, of course, those seas are really going to be building and on the dangerous side. So right now, we're not seeing signs of Patty developing at this moment, but that is the next name on the list. It is Patty. So when you get a big area of rain in the Caribbean this time of year, that is a potential of development. So the next name on the list is Patty, whatever becomes the next name system. That is the name Raphael, Sarah, Tony, Valerie, and William as we round out the list for this year. Hopefully we don't get too far down the list anymore. So there's actually a secondary list of names that they could go to if we run out of names. But let's hope we don't run out of names. Now, two areas in the Pacific. This here is powerful Christy. It is weakening. Finally, it was a Category 5 just a couple days ago. And then we're watching this area right in here for that potential of development. But both of these areas over water. So here we are in Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador right here. You get over toward the Baja here. Here's Hawaii. So as expected, and thank you for your trust, Christy did lift to the north and it will continue to weaken as that does, as Christy stays away from Hawaii, stays away from Mexico and falls apart. We'll be seeing this area starting to develop in here, kind of a wait and see for down the road, but there will be some development in here as we get into next week. Could become the next name system as we work our way onto the eastern Pacific side, but once again, right over water. Here's the latest on Christy, which continues to weaken. Still a hurricane, winds are near 100 miles per hour. Then it is actually going to rapidly weaken as it hits that colder weather over the next 24 hours. Atlantic region of Canada, we're not quite like a couple days ago when we were dealing with the remnants of Oscar yesterday and even over toward Bermuda. Here we are in Bermuda, but we have these fronts moving by. So on the flip side of things, that means the chillier weather, colder weather moving in, but most of the heavy precipitation is staying away, although we'll start to get a rain-snow mix for our friends in parts of the Atlantic region of Canada. Now, I highlighted the rain a little bit closer earlier. These big blobs of rain. Now, eventually, once we get deeper into the week, Haiti and the Dominican Republic, we're going to see those higher totals. So I'll be watching that. I showed you Cayman Islands, Jamaica earlier, scattered about in the short term. And once we get over toward Puerto Rico and then the rest of the Eastern Caribbean, the rain chance isn't super high the next few days. So the rain totals, if you get a shower, 10 to about 25 millimeters of rain, maybe half of an inch of rain in some spots. But as the week goes on, we'll see some of that moisture starting to move in. Trinidad and Tobago, we've had some areas of of rain and storms the last couple days. Could get a spotty shower as we get back through Grenada and Dominica. A couple hit or miss, Suriname, Guyana, and Venezuela. But this is the big area of concern. Parts of Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua on the Caribbean side, and then swinging up to the north with those very high rain totals possible. Please be mindful of the mudslide threat and those dangerous river crossings, Mexico City north right through Texas on the drier side. So the rain chance only goes up for here for us in Jamaica. Today about a 50% chance, but by tomorrow and Monday at least a 70% chance of rain. And again, if anything tries to develop into a tropical storm, I'll give you a very early heads up on that. Cayman Islands, our rain chance is just going to be making the climb from here on out. Not as much today. Kind of spotty as we get back through Trinidad and Tobago. 30% chance the next couple days in Barbados, Eastern Caribbean. That rain chance is lower. St. Lucia, 30 to 40% chance right through the weekend. This weekend in Grenada, 30 to 40% chance, 40% chance on Monday, 40% chance of some showers and storms today possible, mainly a few showers, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Not for all of us. Rain chance on the low side, Martinique, on the low side in Dominica, and even Guadeloupe, very isolated, small 20 to 30% chance through the weekend. There's that 20 to 30% chance for Antigua and Barbuda, 20% chance the next couple of days, St. Kitts and Nevis and Montserrat. Rain chance holding at 20 to 30%, Anguilla and St. Bart's. And isolated St. Martin, Saba, and Statia, just a passing shower will be possible. Puerto Rico, 40 to 50% chance, but all eyes on late this week to see what tries to develop in the Caribbean. U.S. and British Virgin Islands kind of falling under that as well in the short term. Rain chance 20 to 30%. Isolated across the Bahamas. We're mainly dry in the Bahamas, and then as the week goes on into the upcoming week, that rain chance building in the Turks and Caicos. It'll be building in the Dominican Republic. You see in the short term, not as much in Haiti. We're mainly dry, but once we get into Monday and next week, that rain chance is going to go up. And if we have any system moving at us, I'll give you that very early heads up. Belize, of course, let me know how the flooding is doing, location, and what you got going on. I'll be watching that all day long. Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire in the short term, the rain chance stays low, but as the moisture builds in the Caribbean later in the week, our rain chance will be higher. Rain chance starting to go down in Guyana, and you see in Suriname, only a 10 to 20% chance. Isolated in Cuba, but we'll see how much of this rain in the Caribbean kind of feeds our way. Of course, Costa Rica and Panama. Some of us not a lot, but others we're going to deal with some of the flooding. And same thing as we get toward Nicaragua and back toward Honduras with those areas of flooding starting tomorrow especially, and then working our way forward into that upcoming week. So thank you for getting the word out about that and watching out for some heavier pockets of rain, which will be possible tomorrow into Monday. Honduras and, or rather Guatemala and El Salvador. Rain chances low in Mexico City. As we work our way into the Yucatan Peninsula, we'll see some of that moisture, especially on the east side, Cozumel, Cancun, seeing that rain kind of building in. Northern Colombia, 30 to 40% chance. Northern Venezuela, 30 to 40% chance. And we'll be watching a couple fronts nearby by Monday in Bermuda that could give us a few of those showers. So all eyes on what's going on in the Caribbean. A tropical storm developing is a possibility. The biggest thing is kind of the rain with it. So tracking to see kind of where it's going to form. You mentioned the European model showing something maybe more near Puerto Rico, while the American model saying something's going to start to spin up a little bit sooner near Jamaica. But the heavy areas of rain and flooding, those are the biggest issues. So thank you for getting the proper word out to keep everything in good perspective. I'll be going through those comments throughout the day. If you're dealing with some of the flooding now, please be safe and have a good rest of your day.